This little video is called the 13th Reading because it's my 13th reading of this book. Conversation with God, Book 1. I've been reading Conversation with God, Book 1 from, let me just check, the first time was on the 5th of November 2001. That's when I completed it for the first time. And I've read it many, many times over the years. It's a book that I highly recommend to you. And if you're on this Facebook site, the chances are you've already read it. If you haven't, read it. And if you have, read it again. And study particularly, I think, the very first chapter, chapter 1 of Conversations with God, Book 1. That's the one that really opened your eyes, I think, to what our life is all about and what's God's purpose. I'd like to read a little excerpt from the book, and here it is. It's on page 48. At the top of the book it says, this is God speaking, "A thing is only right or wrong because you say it is. A thing is only right or wrong because you say it is. A thing is not right or wrong intrinsically." To which Neale Donald Walsch, who took these messages down with automatic writing, said, "It isn't." And God replies, "Rightness or wrongness is not an intrinsic condition. It is a subjective judgment in a personal value system. By your subjective judgments do you create yourself. By your personal values you determine and demonstrate who you are." I'll just continue a little bit here. "The world exists exactly as it is so that you may make these judgments. If the world existed in perfect condition, your life process of self-creation would be terminated. It would end. A lawyer's career would end tomorrow if there were no more litigation. A doctor's career would end tomorrow if there were no more illness. A philosopher's career would end tomorrow if there were no more questions." To which Neale replies, "And God's career would end tomorrow if there were no more problems." "Precisely," comes the reply, "precisely. You have put it perfectly. We, all of us, would be through creating if there was nothing more to create." I won't continue any more other than to say this is a book which, as you know already, has sold millions of copies. It was the original of all the books that Neale has written, and I still think it's the most profound, perhaps because it introduced me to another person who's into automatic writing, as I've been for many years myself. But Neale's writing is far more profound than mine has been up to this date. So I recommend it. Read this book, Conversations with God, Book 1, and don't just read it. Study it. Put it on your bookshelves, pick it up regularly, because there's so much good information in there which will change your life for the better, that you might help change other people's lives for the better. The world is waiting for people like you to do that.